Hello, we're doing optical illusions video. The people who created the video is Brightside, and let's just get started, I guess. So, Brightside?
They say seeing is believing, or not. Get ready for 11 optical illusions that will trick your
Just trying to
eyes.
get my volume right.
Those who create optical illusions use combinations of colors, lights, or particular patterns that can really trick the brain. So get ready to check your visual perception with this fun challenge. And don't forget to click the subscribe button and turn on notifications to join us on the bright side of life. The first one is creepy. This is a famous drawing created in 1892 by Charles Allen Gilbert called
you can already
All is
see.
Vanity. And depending on what you see first, it can come off as a little creepy. Most people who look at it don't even realize that the drawing is much more than it seems. Have you noticed anything unusual about this picture?
You can already see this bit here is like a skull. Then you can see it's like a person. Wait, the dress is different. Unless the front's white, that's creepy.
You have 10 seconds to figure it out.
Oh well, I shouldn't have paused it, but you can already see what it's a different dress.
Those who look at the drawing notice either a woman sitting in front of the vanity mirror or a spooky-looking skull. If you've managed to spot both of them right away, congratulations! Your visual perception is pretty impressive.
Yeah. It's so weird, like once I see the skull, but once I see the skull, then I see the person in the mirror, I just can't decide.
Alright, here are hidden faces.
Hidden faces.
Here's another challenging image where you have to find something that's hidden right in plain sight. Now at first glance, it might look way too easy. After all, everybody can clearly see at least 4 faces in the tree branches. But like any optical illusion, there's a catch. See how many more faces you can spot in the next 10 seconds.
Alright, I'm just gonna pause it. So there's one there, one there, one there, and one there, one there, and one there. Then there's one there, then there's one there, then there's one there, then there's one there. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10. 10 faces.
If you found 10 faces hidden among the branches, then you're an extremely observant individual.
Yay!
Some say that these faces are actually those of famous public figures. Can you recognize anybody? Share your ideas in the comments below.
No, I can't recognize anybody.
A fair lady. This gorgeous lady must be a ballerina. Otherwise, how does she keep rotating like that with that much grace? Like on her toes? But we're not here to discuss her artistic skills. Instead, can you tell if she is moving in one or two directions?
She's moving in one,
So, what do you think?
2.
Left, right, both? The correct answer is she is moving in the right direction. Cafe wall illusion.
Oh, it's a wall illusion now.
The name of this illusion was inspired by a tiled wall of a cafe in Bristol. Like Starbucks? Nah. But I will tell you no more for now. Can you tell if the dark lines are parallel to each other or inclined? You have 10 seconds to figure it out.
And see, the black, blue lines. Yeah, they are.
Again, it seemed like an easy question. The lines are so obviously inclined. It turns out that they're not. Let us blur the image quite a bit. More. Now that all the small elements are completely blurred, you can see the dark blue lines are actually parallel to each other. Well, that's not fair. This phenomenon is known as the cafe wall illusion. It was first described more than 100 years ago, but got its name only in the 1970s, when a guy named Steve Simpson noticed a similar effect on the wall of a cafe in Bristol. Little black and white bricks at the intersection of wide lines make this illusion possible. Curved elements inside the blue lines only make this effect stronger. The reason we see this distortion is that our retinal neurons and neurons in the visual cortex work together in quite a peculiar way.
What? Wait, hold up. I thought this was just going to be optical illusions. Not just having, like, a whole lesson. Okay. Anyway, let's just continue. Oh.
Number 5. The impossible triangle.
What do you mean?
Meet the impossible triangle. But wait, what makes it so impossible, you say? You have 10 seconds to figure it out before you hear the explanation.
But you can see it's like that, to that, to that. It's a triangle, it's just the optical illusion makes it look 3D.
The impossible triangle, known as Penrose triangle, is so called because it can never exist in reality. If it did exist, it would be absolutely contrary to the rules of Euclidean geometry. What is so wrong with this figure? Well, if you follow the ball sliding on the surface of the triangle from the top point, you will see that the left side is extending away and the right side is leaning towards you. However, they both seem to be on the same plane. Only an optical illusion makes it seemingly possible to the human eye.
Oh!
Now, number 6. Bicycle.
Bicycle. Okay.
Okay, this one seems pretty plain. There is a bicycle and it's moving. Still, there is something wrong here, something mysterious. Can you figure out what the trick is? You have 10 seconds to do so.
The gear's not moving. Well, not the gear, but like this thing here. When you pedal, it goes round. And that will like spin it round and activate.
What makes the bicycle move? Obviously, the fact that the spokes in its wheels are rotating. Nah, it can't be that easy when it comes to optical illusions. In fact, the spokes remain in place, and the colors that fill the wheels, those 50 shades of gray, that keeps changing. This illusory motion effect is created thanks to small, quick eye movements. Scientists are still working on figuring out how this phenomenon works to understand the perception of motion better. Now I present to you Rubik's Cube.
Oh my.
What are these red and green and white lines all about? It looks like something familiar, but what exactly is it? If you need more time, just pause the video.
It's like a Rubik's Cube, but then like, it's like curved. Is it like the things you use to measure an angle?
We are going to need a cylindrical mirror to get the right answer. It's a Rubik's Cube. This optical illusion is based on anamorphosis. Hey, I remember anamorphosis. She used to live down the street. Actually, it's a form of perspective. The idea of it is to transform images so distorted it is almost impossible to guess what they are into something that makes sense using a cylindrical mirror. And it only makes sense if you do it from one special point, so only one person can see it at a time. It would be a great way to send hidden messages. It turns out this technique is not a 21st century 3D era invention. It actually dates back to late Renaissance, which was in the 16th century.
So that was in like 1500s?
chessboard.
Oh, I'm on the chess one.
You can't play any chess with this board because it's moving all over the place.
No.
Or is it? You have 10 seconds to do so, and please try not to get hypnotized.
Wait. It's like borders. Like you can see the borders are like moving around in circles.
As hard as it is to believe, the eyes actually remain where they were. You can see it if you focus on just one of them. If you stare at one point and ignore the
Wait.
As hard as it is to believe, the eyes actually remain where they were. You can see it if you focus on just one of them. If you stare at one point and ignore the constant movement of black and white dots, it all becomes clear. And that's the way, huh?
Hold up.
We get.
Okay.
Counting down from number 9, Upside Down Steve Buscemi.
Oh, I saw this one. This one's weird.
Can you tell me what's wrong with Steve Buscemi? I mean, I hope Steve is perfectly fine, but can you tell me what's wrong with the second picture?
Oh god, no. That's really disturbing. Alright, so just flip your device upside down. Then you'll see his eyes are going like the wrong way around. It's
These
really
pictures look the same to
weird.
me. Hit thumbs up if you think so too. Let's try to turn it upside down. Oh no,
Oh, no,
that is
no.
way too scary. It seems like my eyes tricked me again. By the way, here is another fun celebrity optical illusion. Herman grid illusion and scintillating grid illusion. Look at this black square crisscrossed with perpendicular white lines. The white dots situated at the intersections of the grid shift their color from white to gray and back. When you
Yeah.
concentrate on a particular dot, you see that it's white. But as soon as your attention wanders, the dot turns gray. That's the Herman grid illusion. Amazing, isn't it?
That's weird.
We can take this illusion one step further by positioning white dots at the intersections of gray lines, all placed on top of the black background. Look at this image attentively, and you'll notice black dots starting to pop up at the intersections of the grid.
They're flickering.
Doesn't it create a scintillating effect? Another name for this illusion is a simultaneous light contrast illusion, as you perceive the dots as white at one moment, and then, almost immediately, you see them as black. How is it going? Have you managed to spot this effect yet? If not, take your time. You can pause the video and observe this illusion for a bit longer.
Me, it's not changing black. It's like changing grey.
So why do your senses let you down by making you see gray or
doesn't
black
matter.
instead of white? Actually, this illusion demonstrates one of the most important principles of human perception. You don't always see things for what they really are.
These are ribbons.
The thing is that the retinal cells in your eyes act as light receptors. When only one receptor gets illuminated, it perceives more cells. Thus, well, the best is a large box and one little box and some magic to make this illusion possible. I will leave some space to your imagination here. Let's discuss it in the comments section. How is it possible for the little box to be outside, inside, and part of the large box at the same time? So, how many optical
Oh, they didn't know we're done.
This is Ecosia. It's a search engine that plans.
Thirsty on an island. Simon was shipwrecked and washed up on the shore of a deserted island. He's
Yes.
thirsty, and the only thing he has is a plastic bag and a straw. After looking around, he sees a juicy cactus, a tall leafy tree, a dirty pond, a pool of mud. How can he use the plastic bag to get water?
Oh, he's gonna empty the pool, and then he's gonna fill the pool with water.
He can't use the cactus. It can be toxic, and without a sharp tool to reach the pulp, the plastic bag is useless. The dirty pond and muddy pool are filled with bacteria and parasites, and without tools to start a fire and boil the water, he could get sick. The best bet is the tall, leafy tree. He simply needs to tie the bag on the edge of a branch and pierce it slightly with a stick. The tree will produce drinkable water through transpiration. Oh, that's clever.
What?
Where's the waiter?
Wait.
Adam is the head waiter at a one-story steakhouse. On the busiest night of the week, he vanished, and the owner called the police to file a missing persons report. Detectives talked to the last 3 people who saw him. A trainee server said she only saw him when he got to work and parked his bicycle. The chef said he saw the waiter in the kitchen when he came to get a glass of orange juice. The cook said he last saw the waiter going upstairs. After the statements, the police arrested the cook.
Huh? Wait, who's the cook?
Why?
Wait, I know who they should arrest, him, because it's a one-story steakhouse. I'm not sure if that's the cook.
This
though.
was a one-story restaurant.
Yeah.
He couldn't have gone upstairs. Spilling the tea. Susie went to study for her university exam at a coffee shop. She ordered a white tea and sat down. 10 minutes later, she got up to go to the bathroom. When she returned, her laptop wouldn't turn on and her teacup was empty. Someone had spilled the tea on her computer and cleaned it up.
Oh my god, all the
She called the
gossip went
manager,
on the
told
computer.
him what happened, and they came up with 3 suspects. The barista said he had been swamped and didn't see anything. The supervisor said he was sorry that the milky tea spilled on the computer, and he could see if insurance would cover the cost. The head barista said he was sorry the milky tea spilled on her laptop, and he'd make her another one while they waited for the police to arrive. Immediately, the store manager knew who did it.
Wait. Was it this guy? Because how did he know the tea was milky? This guy, yeah, he would have known because he was given the milk. But how would he know? It has to be Ginger.
It was the supervisor. He couldn't have known that the tea had milk in it since it was cleaned up. The only person who remembered the order was the one who prepared it. The missing phone. We're at the coffee shop again. This time, Stuart forgot his phone on the table when he left.
No, Stu.
But once he realized and came back, his phone was gone. He saw a guy running outside the store, and Stuart chased him. When he caught him, Stuart said, "I've lost my device. Did you take it by accident?" The man replied, "I have no idea where your phone is, sir. I was just grabbing coffee." Stuart immediately called the police. Why?
Never said it could have been a tablet, could have been a, like, you know. Never said it was a
Stuart
phone.
told him he lost his device. That could have been anything from a smartwatch to a camera or something else. The guy couldn't have known it was a phone unless he took it. Where did the baker go? The
Unless he had
Cupcakes
money.
Den is a local shop that became famous for its tasty, well, you guessed it, cupcakes. On Monday morning, the head baker vanished, and the shop couldn't deliver the 200 cupcakes they had promised for a birthday party. The owner called the police, and they had 3 suspects in their custody. The helper said he had gone out to buy more frosting, but when he returned, the baker was gone. The waiter said he had been cleaning the shop of the massive mess from making the 200 cupcakes. The manager said he was meeting with a new supplier to get more beef jerky at the shop. The detectives knew who was lying. Can you guess it?
It's so honest. It's too easy. The manager. Beef jerky. Why would you need that?
It's the manager. Who needs beef jerky at a cupcake shop? Get the last question right. Adam was taking part in a Brain Teaser TV game show, and he had one last question to answer before winning $50,000. He was tired and decided to call his best friend Luke to help him. The host asked, "If you could rearrange the order of the letters in this word, ACIPCIF, what does it show? A country, a city, a large mountain, or an ocean?" Luke answered correctly. Can you?
Oh, wait. Passe. Wait. Let's see. So, P. Wait, let's get my pen out for this. So P's. I need to get P. Cross that out. P. A. C. I. F. I. C. Pacific Ocean. Pacific Ocean. That has to be it.
An ocean. If you unscramble the word, it shows Pacific. Where's he hiding? Martin vanished one morning and his family called the police.
Yeah, he's
Detectives
hiding.
searched everywhere and questioned 15 people, but none of them gave any untruthful answers. His son Jake found a letter from his dad saying, "If you love me, you'll find me." He went to his father's office to see if he could find any clues. He was looking around the room and immediately knew where his father was hiding. Can you guess it?
I wonder. I'm so
On the wall, there's a
confused.
picture frame with his dad's cabin, and it's got a hand-drawn circle on it. He must be there. Lost in an underwater cave. Sarah just got her certificate as a cave diver. She decided to spend her afternoon exploring some dangerous underwater ocean caves. While turning left and right, she got lost. She didn't have enough time to look for her way back and continued swimming further. That was when she came across 3 openings. Through the first, there were 45 hungry piranhas. Through the second, a great white shark. And through the last one, a giant box jellyfish. Which is the safest path?
What was the jellyfish could do? You could easily move around them, basically.
The first one. Piranhas are freshwater fish. They can't survive in salt water.
You are kidding me. How's that like?
The van.
Just for-
Susan was outside watering her plants when she noticed 3 people dressed in black clothing carrying electronic devices from her neighbor's home. She asked them what they were doing, and they said they were from a moving company. Immediately, Susan called the police. Why?
Because the neighbor.
There were no license plates on the van, and movers don't only carry electronic equipment, but all sorts of stuff. The prison escape.
Plus, that's a too small
One
van.
morning, Detective Smith was called into a maximum security prison to discover how 3 men had managed to escape from their cells. The prisoners could neither see nor talk to each other, but they arranged their escape together. They went to the shower room at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and only one person was allowed in at different periods. How did they manage to communicate and escape?
They like wet the They use the shower to wet the glass, and then they use the glass.
They wrote
to make
messages to each other on the bathroom mirrors, used steam to read them, and planned their escape together. The villa disappearance. It was a cold, rainy weekend. Michael, Susie, Amara, and Luke were spending Saturday and Sunday together playing board games.
Ooh.
On Saturday morning, when they woke up, Amara was missing. They looked everywhere for her, but couldn't find her. That was when Luke called the police. Detectives examined the room and asked everybody what they were doing at 4 a.m. Luke said he couldn't sleep, so he went downstairs to the gaming room to play some online games. Michael said he couldn't sleep either, so he went outside to look at the stars. Susie said she followed Michael outside to get some fresh air. That was when the detectives figured out who was lying.
Luke, because they was playing board games, not video games.
Michael and Susie. It was a rainy weekend, remember? The cursed photo. Alan was on his final stretch to becoming a detective. He passed a bunch of assessments until he reached the last one. This was where his attention to detail skills would be tested. The chief of police handed Alan a photo. He told him, "This is Michael. He's having a birthday party. But something in this photo is very eerie. Alan spotted it in 2 seconds. Can you?
Oh god, it's in the balloons. Oh, it's in the balloons. Oh no, it's in the balloons.
There's a hand inside the blue balloon. Well, how did it get there? The right amount of water. Peter was the best problem solver in his class. One day, his chemistry teacher called him up to test his intelligence and inspire his peers. He gave Peter 3 glass jugs. None of them had any measuring markings on them, but just a label showing their maximum capacity. The first jug was filled with water up to the top, and the label read 8 liters. The second was empty, and its label showed 5 liters. The third was also empty, with a maximum capacity of 3 liters. The teacher told Peter to arrange the liquid so that only 2 liters remained in one glass jug without using any measuring tools. Peter figured out how to do it in 4 seconds.
Oh.
First, he needs to fill the 5-liter jug all the way to the top. Then he needs to pour the water from the 5-liter jug into the 3-liter jar until it's full. What remains in the 5-liter jug is 2 liters. The treasure coin. An archaeologist spent the past year looking for a lost ancient treasure. As he was digging, he found one ancient gold coin. He took it to his museum. When his colleagues carefully cleaned the coin and took a closer look, they refused to accept it. Why?
Huh? Oh, because it has like Egyptian markings, but then there's like the Roman like leaves as Egyptian markings and the Roman leaves. That's why.
It reads 100 BCE on the back.
Yeah.
Ancient people didn't know they lived in that era. Or did they?
Oh.
No, they didn't.
Alright, next video is I couldn't crack all 13 riddles.
People never believe how easy it is to make a Squarespace site. You can launch products live for people to buy.
Okay, bad news. You got taken. No time to explain. Let's just get out of here. So you find yourself in a dark cell with a dirt floor and a small window at twice your height. There's no food or water, but there's a shovel. Why did they leave the shovel? Don't ask me, I don't know. Just be happy you have it. However, you can't dig your way out because the walls go a long way underground. So, how do you get out?
You smash the window and then jump over the
You can still dig and make a high dirt pile that will make you reach the window and get out of there. So you do just that and find yourself in a dark corridor. You have nothing to do but to go straight, hoping that sooner or later you'll find the exit and get out of this creepy place. Half an hour later, you approach a metal door. You have to enter the passcode, but here's a hint. Berlin, 600. Paris, 400. London, 600. Rome, 200. Toronto, what's the passcode? Each consonant in the word gives 200 points, while each vowel takes away 100 points. In the word Toronto, there are 4 consonants that give 800 together. 3 vowels take away 300 points. So the passcode is 500. The door clicks and you leave another obstacle behind. Soon, you approach 3 more doors. Behind the first one, there's an iron block with a movement sensor that will crush everyone who enters. Behind the second door, there's an electric shocker that never misses. Behind the third door, there's broken glass all over the floor. Which way do you choose?
And number 3 because I have shoes on.
You pick the third door, obviously. You're wearing some boots, right? So, walking on the glass is definitely not going to be too hard of a task. You follow the tunnel till you reach the next room. As you step in there, a metal cage falls down from the ceiling and traps you inside. However, there are 3 buttons there. The red button will open the cage, but it'll also open a door with a hungry lion. The blue button will fill the cage with water for 10 minutes, and only then will it open the door. However, keep in mind that people can only live 7 minutes without oxygen. The green button will set the room on fire, but will open the cage door in 5 minutes. Which one do you choose?
The water, because the cage is open doors. Like, you can see through the cage.
You should choose the blue button. The water won't be able to fill the cage because it will just splash outside. You'll only have to wait 10 minutes until the door opens, and you'll be able to get out safely. You turn right and immediately bump into a huge guard. Your heart skips a beat and you get paralyzed with fear. To your surprise, the guard looks down at you and asks, "Want to pass?" Speechless, you just nod. Okay. You see, no one here wants to play riddles with me. If you solve one of my riddles, I'll let you go and won't tell anyone I've seen you. Deal? You nod again, and here comes your riddle. What is that invention that lets you see right through walls?
X-ray.
That's a window, of course. The guard smiles and says, "Beware of the vampires." Then he moves aside, letting you go. Wow, that was close. And
But the windows must
vampires?
be a hint.
This gives you chills. But you have to keep moving and get out. And again, another door that requires a passcode. Can
I
you
will
crack
work
it?
this one out.
There's a hint again. You should continue the sequence. OTTFFSSENT.
Wait. Orbit. OTF. Oh. I don't know.
Each of these letters is the first letter of the numbers. O for 1, T for 2, T for 3, then 4, 5, and so on.
E. T. T. F.
Now,
I've just.
there's just
actually
one
misspelled
try,
riddle,
and if you
and I got
fail,
riddle
the
wrong,
exit
so
gets
luckily-
blocked for 24 hours. Finally, you come across another door with a robot guarding it. To let you go, the robot needs you to say the password. The tricky thing is that the password is different each time. The man said that as he was hiding in the room, he saw the vampires passing it twice. The first time, the robot said 12, and the vampire said 6. The other time,
Huh?
the robot said 6, and the vampire said 3.
Oh.
When the man approached the robot the last time, the robot said 8. The man replied 4, but the robot didn't let him in. The door got blocked, so it wasn't the right answer. You nod and approach the robot. The robot says 4. What is your answer?
4. It's the amount of letters it has.
The answer is 4. The rule isn't dividing the number by 2, but saying the number of letters in the word. Your answer is accepted. The robot opens the door
Oh
and lets you
my.
go. Again, another dark room. But as you step into it, you get surrounded by 8 hungry dogs. In the middle, there's a meat cake standing so high on the table that the dogs can't reach it.
Over the last
Dang
year,
it.
many of our
To calm them down and make them your friends before they make you their dinner, you have to feed them the cake. But here's a tricky thing. The knife is magical and can only make 3 cuts. After 3 cuts, it disappears. Your task is to divide the cake into 8 equal pieces with these 3 cuts. How can you manage that?
Okay. So I want to pause this. So you could just go straight down in the middle, cut that, and cut that up, couldn't you? Because then you're 1, 2, 3. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I only have 6. Oh god. That. Looks amazing. So that's 2 cuts, and we have 4 pieces. Now we have to half them. So you could just go like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can only get 6. I'm gonna see how they do this.
With one cut, you cut the cake in half and get 2 pieces. Then you make another perpendicular cut and get 4 pieces. With your last move, you have to cut the cake in the middle horizontally, splitting each of the 4 pieces into 2 at once. Great job! Now, give each of the dogs a piece of cake and get out of there immediately. You rush to the door and lock it behind yourselves. You're in a tunnel again, and this time there's no light at all. You move in complete darkness, putting your hand to the wall so that you know where to go. You walk like that for at least half an hour when, finally, you see some light. You run towards it and come across another massive door that requires a passcode. Luckily, there's a hint again, but there will be 2 questions appearing one by one. To get the passcode, you have to solve both of them and put the answers together. Ready? How many months have 28 days?
0. None.
All 12 of them, obviously. Okay, next one. Here's the sequence of letters. S, M, H, D, W. What are the other 2 letters?
O and P.
S stands for seconds, M for minutes, H for hours, D is for days, W is for weeks. So the next letters are M for months and Y for years. And the full passcode is 12MW. The door clicks and you're outside. Finally! There's actual air and sun. But before you start thinking about what happened and what to do next, a police officer comes up to you. With him, there are 2 ladies wearing paper bags over their heads. "Sir, are you Mr. Jones?" the police officer asks. You reply, "That's you exactly."
No.
However, the police officer looks suspicious. "Well, we can't know for sure that you're not one of these criminals pretending to be someone else, so we have to test you. One of these ladies is your bride. Tell us which one it is." And now, you finally remember what happened. It was your wedding morning. You were about to get married, and then you found yourself in that dungeon. Well, the problem is that you haven't seen your wife-to-be wedding dress yet, so you can't even tell which one is the right one.
I think
Is
it's
there
the one on
any
the
other
right.
way to tell? Think carefully. With their faces covered, these girls are absolutely identical.
This one's wearing an actual wedding dress. And look, this
You
one
didn't
already
need
has
much
a ring.
time. You notice that one of the girls is wearing a wedding ring already. However, you and your bride aren't married yet, so she's not supposed to have one. And the one who doesn't have it is yours. Congratulations! The girl removes the bag, and you see that it's really her. Right behind you, the door opens and the vampires walk out. You're about to start screaming, but they take off their wigs and they turn out to be your friends. So, was it all a prank? Well, yeah, it was. But don't be mad. You had fun, right? Well,
All right. One more.
Creamy barbecue sauce, bacon and pepper jack cheese. The new barbecue bacon stack from McDonald's. A lot to love.
oh boy. William got inside a cave during an archaeological expedition. There were
Oh,
3
no,
ways out.
William.
However, only one of them was safe. His map said that behind the first way out, there was a pond that swallowed everything in. The second way out led to dangerous dinosaurs that would eat him alive. The third way out led to an erupting volcano. Which way was safe?
The dinosaurs.
The second one, because the dinosaurs went extinct many years ago. You're running away from a pack of zombies and come across 3 doors. Behind the first one, there's raging fire. Behind the second one, there's a lake of water. Behind the third one, there's a venomous snake. Which way would you choose?
I do like the pond.
I'd recommend to choose the second one and swim away. It's just a lake. You can do it. During his vacation in the jungles, Aiden was caught by some tribe. They tied him up and said they'd push him into one of the 3 pits of his choice. The first pit was filled with zombies. The second one, there was raging fire. The third one was filled with huge pitcher plants. Which pit should Aiden pick?
I think the 5 is then the rope will burn and then he can quickly run.
He should choose the third one. The pitcher plants only eat insects. They're not dangerous for people. Aston reported that someone had robbed his house. Detective Callum arrived and asked Aston to tell him what happened. He said that he walked into his room and saw someone getting out of his window. They must have heard him walking inside the house. Then he checked his desk and found that his money had been stolen. Detective Callum asked if Aston had touched anything else, and the man said he hadn't. Detective Callum closed the case and refused to proceed. Can you guess why?
Because he touched his phone to call.
The robber wouldn't get out of the window without stepping on the bed. However, the bed was perfectly made, and Aston said he hadn't touched it. It means there was no robber. Waverly was an archaeologist looking for a pirate treasure. In one of the caves on a deserted island, she finally found it. There were 3 chests, and one of them was filled with gold and gems. However, if she picked one of the wrong chests, terrible things would happen to her. Luckily, there were statements on each of them, but only one of these statements was true. 1. The treasure is in this chest. 2. The treasure isn't in this chest. 3. The treasure isn't in chest number 1. Which of the chests has the treasure?
I don't. So this chest is saying it's in that chest, but this chest is saying no, it's not in this chest. Well, it's saying this chest isn't in there, so it's the one on it's chest 3. Chest 2 is telling the truth.
Let's solve it step by step. If the first statement is true, then the treasure must be in the first chest, and the other statements must be false. In this case, the second statement is also correct, so that was a wrong guess. If the second statement is true, then the treasure isn't in the first chest. The treasure isn't in the second chest either, just like it says. Then it must be in the third one. However, this makes the third statement correct too, although it shouldn't be. If the third statement is true, then from the first statement that is wrong, you can conclude that there's no treasure in the first chest. Since the second one is wrong too, then the treasure must be there. Now there's no contradictions, and the treasure is in the second chest. Whew. Does anybody else have chest pains? Just me? Yeah, okay. Skylar and Amelia are pen pals. Skylar said that her birthday was in winter, and Amelia said that hers is in summer. However, a couple of months later, they both had their birthday on the same day. Still, none of them lied. How is it possible? They live in different hemispheres. When it's wintertime in the US, it's summer in Australia, and vice versa. Mrs.
You are
Fitz
kidding
came
me.
back from work and found that her favorite cup was broken. She asked her
Okay.
daughters who had done it. Katie said,
doesn't even
"It
have
wasn't
a son."
me." Serena said, "It wasn't me either." Hannah said, "It was Serena." Mrs. Fitz knew her daughters well, and she could tell what happened. Only one of the girls was telling the truth. Can you guess who broke the cup?
Alright, so basically, if it wasn't her, and that's true, then it was her. But then she's saying it wasn't Serena. So that can't work. And then if that's true, then that's a lie. Then that's saying it was Kate who did it. And if Hannah's is true, then that means that Serena's can be a lie. Yeah, it was her, but then Katie's. Wait a minute, it's her. So mostly, it's Katie. It's Katie.
If Katie tells the truth, then firstly, it wasn't her who broke the cup. Secondly, the other two girls are lying. Serena is lying, so you can conclude it was her. But then Hannah is right, and that's a contradiction. Let's say Hannah is right. Then it was Serena who broke the cup, and Serena is lying. But then Katie is telling the truth too when she says it wasn't her. So Serena is telling the truth. She says it wasn't her, so you can trust her. And Katie and Hannah are lying. Katie says it wasn't her, so it was her. And Hannah says it's Serena, which is a lie. So Serena is the honest girl, and Katie is the guilty one. Hannah is just a liar.
Yes.
Esme was on her casual walk in the forest, and she didn't get lost this time. Here it was, her way home. But the other one was away to the witch's house. After a bit of thinking, Esme decided she had to say hi to her old friends and visit the witch. The witch said she didn't have a riddle for her that day, and Esme was free to go. But Esme had one. She said if the witch got it wrong, Esme would take her cat. Dear witch, imagine you're in a dark room. How can you get out?
And by getting a light.
She mustn't imagine that. Spoiler, the witch got it and kept the cat. Next time, Esme. A police officer was walking in a neighborhood and stopped one gentleman. He asked him what the man was doing, and he said that he had just left his house to go to the grocery store. However, the officer didn't believe him and arrested the man. Why?
Because there's a house right next to it. That isn't far away.
Look, it's snowing, and there are fresh footprints on the snow that lead out of the window. House owners usually use the front door to walk out of the house, so this one must be a burglar. Bryce was a grumpy old gentleman who didn't like some teenagers walking past his house. So once, he decided to report them so they'd never be allowed to get close to him anymore. He called the authorities and told them that he was having tea on his terrace, and those teenagers threw a baseball at him. Luckily, the baseball flew above him. However, the detective didn't believe it had happened at all. Why?
Because there wasn't a damage in the roof. Well, the glass wasn't broken.
Take a look at the terrace. It's all made of glass. Bryce's place is right next to a window. If the baseball had flown right above him, as he said, it would have broken the glass.
This is my mom and dad, king and queen, and this is me, sitting 5 seats away from the throne. But
Thomas was collecting action figures. Some of them he got from his grandfather. They were super rare, and his collection of more than 500 figures was worth about $1 million. One day he came home from vacation and found out that his collection was stolen. Detective Callum was up for the case. There were 3 suspects, all of them were Thomas's neighbors. He said that the collection of action figures had been stolen and asked what they had been doing during the holidays. Sydney said that she was in the neighborhood. She was working but had nothing to do with the figures. Mateo said that his grandma is staying with him, so he's always with her, and he couldn't find any room for 500 action figures at his place. Gideon said that he wasn't even in the neighborhood and had just come back himself. Who stole the collection?
Never heard of a basement blue top guy.
Mateo. No one mentioned how many figures there were in the collection, but he knew somehow. Samantha, a rich woman, found out that someone had stolen the money from her wallet. There were 3 people in the house: Malcolm, a cleaning man, Grace, a gardener, and Sebastian, a boy who walks her dog. She reported the case. The police took the fingerprints but only found those of Samantha herself. Still, they had the main suspect. Who was it? The main suspect was the cleaning man, Malcolm. He's wearing gloves, and that's why he was able to do it without leaving any fingerprints. Annabelle didn't want to go to school, so in the morning, she went downstairs and told her mom that she wasn't feeling well. She said that she had eaten a bit of apple last night, and it must have been poisoned because she'd been feeling unwell all night. However, Mrs. Collins didn't believe her and sent Annabelle to school. Why?
Because they don't have apples in the house.
There's just one bite on the apple, and it's a fresh one. If Annabelle had left this bite last night, it'd be brown. But it was still okay, which meant it was fresh. At school, Sophie opened her locker and found an envelope. Inside, there was a calendar and a note asking if she wanted to go to the prom. However, instead of the name, there were just several numbers: 17, 2, 30, 25. Can you guess who asked Sophie to prom?
Probably someone who's in her classes. Like in them classes.
The calendar is the key. You just have to find all the numbers and see what name the first letters of the respective months give you. So 17 is circled in August, so it's A. Number 2 is in December, which gives us D. Number 30 is in April, so A again. And finally, number 25 is May 25, so it's May. Seems like the guy's name is Adam. Too bad there are 13 Adams at her school. Elsie walked into a party store to buy something. She learned that 1 costs $1, 17 costs $2, and 103 costs $3. She needed 22. What do you think she's buying, and how much should you pay?
She needs 22. Well,
She's probably buying birthday candles for a cake, so each candle costs $1. She needs 22, which is 2 candles, so she'll have to spend $2. Look at the picture attentively. Can you say who didn't help to build the doghouse?
brick. Brick's not needed.
Yep, it's the man on the right. He's holding a brick, but the doghouse is made of wood. Sarah was a popular guitar player in a rock band. On Friday, the band was going to have a big gig. Sarah's bandmates were waiting for her, but the girl was very late. Eventually, she did show up, but it wasn't Sarah. It was her twin sister, Alice. She was envious of Sarah, so she locked her sister in a room, took her clothes and the guitar, and pretended to be a band member. But as soon as the musicians saw fake Sarah, they immediately knew she wasn't their bandmate. How did they understand?
But I don't know what the nails, so this is at the time is 50.
She wasn't their band.
6.
Her sister and girl was Sarah was a popular guitar player in a rock band.
Her nails
On Friday,
are painted
the band
in
was going to
first
have a
one.
big gig.
Look, she doesn't have the painted nails here.
Look at how long the girl's nails are. But you need to have short nails to play the guitar. A man came to a fruit market to sell watermelons. After he
my
sold
God,
half
did
of
I
them
not
and half of a
realize that
watermelon,
literally?
he saw he had 1 watermelon left. How many watermelons did he bring to the market?
We what?
After he sold half of them and half of a watermelon, he saw he had 1 watermelon left. How many? A man came to a fruit market to sell watermelons. After he sold half of them and half of a watermelon, he saw he had 1 watermelon left. How many watermelons did he bring to the market?
So that's a 1.3. You bought 3. Yep, he bought 3. He bought 3 watermelons because 3 shed by 1.5.
He came there with
Okay.
3 watermelons. Cheryl ran into the house, extremely worried. "I set off as soon as I heard the news," she told the police officer. "I was at my parents' house in another town. I left a week ago and was supposed to stay there for at least 10 more days. What's happened to my husband?" "Somebody hit Mr. Brown on the head. He was taken to a hospital, but he's going to be okay. I've been questioning the suspects." Mr. Brown's secretary said, "He sent me to his business partner earlier in the morning. Some important documents needed signatures." The cook said, "I haven't left the kitchen today. Mr. Brown wanted me to prepare a meal for the whole family. The housekeeper said, I didn't hear anything. I was doing some household chores all day long. After that, I was so tired, I decided to take a nap.
It's
The
this
detective
cook.
realized who the culprit was in no time. Who was it?
It's the cook. Oh, so you're not gonna go to the toilet, eh? It's the cook.
It was the cook. Mrs. Brown's wife was out of town. There was no need to cook a lot all day long. Olivia was running a marathon. Right before the finish line, she did her best and outran the person who was running in second place. The woman was happy. She was going to win. But in a few seconds, she got very disappointed. Why?
Because someone won.
Olivia was in second place. She was faster than the person in the second place, but not the first. Look at this image attentively. Can you guess which person is a ghost?
Excuse me, where's your Gucci flip-flops?
Look at the woman on the right. She has no legs and is just floating through the air.
And she has
Amanda
like an
loved dogs very much.
identical face.
One day,
like,
she was walking in the park
person, like,
and saw
next.
a lovely corgi. The dog was friendly, and Amanda even petted the animal. Soon, the pooch's owner appeared, and the girl asked him how old the dog was. Well, in 2 years, Luna will be twice as old as she was 5 years ago. Amanda nodded and continued her walk. And did you understand how old the dog was?
He's 8. In 2 years, she'll be 10.
Luna is 12 years old. Liza worked as a teaching assistant at a college. That day, she had to look after a group of students who were writing an exam. Lisa knew some of them were going to cheat. And indeed, soon after the exam started, the girls spotted one person who was cheating. Who was it?
I wonder.
It's the guy in the back of the classroom. He's got the answers written on his arm. Jacob wakes up locked in a basement. He has no idea how it happened or who is behind this. Near his bed, he finds a note. 2 + 2 equals fish. 3 + 3 equals 8. 7 + 7 equals triangle. Explain this and you'll be free. Can you help Jacob get out of the basement?
Oh, it's the amount of letters. Wait.
Stack the first number and the second one that is flipped backwards, and you'll get a fish, number 8, and a triangle. 2 guards were looking in different directions. One had to make sure there was no danger coming from the west. The other was turned toward the east. At one point, one of the guards asked the other, "Why are you smiling?" But how could he know his companion was smiling?
Because I was like looking in mirrors.
The men were indeed looking in the opposite directions, but they weren't standing back to back. They were facing each other. Brian was walking down the stairs when his foot slipped and he tumbled. When the guy came to his senses, he discovered he was mostly unharmed, but he couldn't remember anything. Suddenly, 2 women entered the house. They looked exactly the same. When they found out what had happened, each of them started to claim Brian was her husband. Can you help the guy understand which one is his real wife?
It's obvious the one on the left because their right arm has the flag tattoo on it.
It's Rachel. She has a tattoo on the same arm as the girl in the wedding photo. Oliver was sailing his yacht when a storm started. The yacht sank in the middle of the ocean. After swimming for hours, the guy finally reached a deserted island. He saw several men there. They told Oliver they would keep him locked in one of the caves on the island. Oliver agreed, but asked them to grant him one last wish. When he told the men what this wish was, they set him free. Why?
He wished to be. He said, just let me.
He said, I want the smartest of you to lock me there. Oh, by the way, you get extra points if you caught my error in the description. An island with several men on it is not deserted. One of Kenneth's professors at university had an unconventional way of grading his students. On Wednesday, Kenneth and his friends had to write a test, but their professor gave each of them a picture. You need to figure out how many people there are in this image. Those of you who will come up with the correct answer won't need to write the test. Can you help Kenneth figure out the right number of people?
One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Possibly 7, but I'm going with 6. Yes, 6.
There are 6 people in the picture. 5 of them are visitors, and one more person is looking through a peephole in the painting on the right. Emily was walking in the park when she saw 2 teenagers sitting on a bench. They were arguing who should pay for riding an electric scooter. Each of them claimed it was the other one who used the scooter. Emily didn't need much time to understand who had to pay. Can you figure it out too?
I think it's the boy he rode.
Look
it
at the
'cause he's
footprints.
closer.
The girl was the one to ride the electric scooter. Dennis is taking part in a competition. If his last answer is correct, he'll get a prize, an expensive watch. But first, he needs to figure out which of these 2 watches is real and which is just a toy.
The one on the right's real, because the one on the left's too big.
The watch on the left is a toy. Look at its minute hand. It's too long and won't be able to pass all the way around the watch face. Mr. and Mrs. Anderson wanted to celebrate their wedding anniversary. They were going to organize an extravagant party and invite hundreds of guests. But Mrs. Anderson was worried about all the expensive stuff they had at their villa.
Okay, I'm back.
The couple decided to invite a detective to look after the guests. And indeed, in the middle of the party, the detective noticed a thief. Look at the people gathered in the garden and try to spot the criminal.
I wonder.
It's the guy on the left. He's trying to steal a woman's bracelet. Look at the picture attentively. What is the missing number?
Wait, hold up. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Say, it's how many times it goes through, because it goes like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. 4.
It's 4. All these numbers indicate how many times the lines cross in each case. There are 100 books on a shelf. To count off 10 of them, you'll need 10 seconds. So, how much time will you spend counting off 70 books?
1 minute and 10 seconds.
Just 30 seconds. You need this time to count off 30 books, and the rest will make 70. One morning, Donna came to the office and found a box of chocolates on her desk. There was also a strange note. October 7th, May 3rd, August 1st, January 3rd. Can you help Donna understand who presented her the sweets?
Wait, I've just figured it out. The 7th letter. It's a 7. It's like the letter in it. So it's number 7 is October has 7, so that'd be R, so R. Then Y. And then R. And then N. So it's Ryan. It's the letter in the month.
Her secret admirer is Ryan. Those are not dates. The number actually means the needed letter in the name of the month. Mark was going to an important business meeting. He was running a bit late. That's why he was driving fast. Unfortunately, the man got into a car accident. Both he and the other driver were okay, but the cars were badly damaged. Mark called the police. When they arrived, Mark explained the situation. I was driving fast, but I wasn't breaking any rules. Suddenly, a car pulled out in front of me. I didn't have enough time to brake. The other driver exclaimed, "This whole accident is your fault. I was driving slowly, talking to my wife about our weekend plans, and then you appeared out of nowhere." The police officers immediately understood who was responsible for the accident. Do you know it?
Oh, it's a ginger man because nobody was even in the car. Plus, even if you're talking, it shouldn't be.
It was the other driver. He was alone in his car. It means he was talking to his wife on the phone, which is illegal. Detective Mitchell was following a bank robber. But after the criminal turned the corner, he seemed to vanish into thin air. After wandering around for a while, the detective came across a small park with a lake. Right on the shore, there were several marble statues. The man was about to pass by when something drew his attention. He realized where the criminal was. Can you figure it out?
Isn't like the night one?
One of the statues is looking at its watch. It's the bank robber. James escaped from prison and ran to the countryside. Suddenly, on a small, dark road, he saw a police car heading in his direction. James ran toward the car for some time, then jumped off the road and rushed into the woods. Why did he run toward the car first?
Oh, so the cops would think he's going there, but then we could just...
James was in the middle of a bridge when he saw the car. He had to run toward the vehicle to get off of the bridge.
Creamy
Alright,
barbecue
I think
sauce.
that's it for this video. And, yeah, that's it for today's video, and yeah.